LoreWarrior Aerotech, Troop Carriers and Fury-class Dropship. Though the jump ship is the rarest and therefore the most critical link in space travel, this vessel would be next to useless without dropships. Often referred to as the workhorse of the inner sphere, dropships range from under 2,000 tons to over 100,000 tons in mass. There are two basic dropship types defined by their atmospheric flight capabilities. The first is capable of atmospheric flight due to its aerodynamic design, and these Aerodynes are generally the smallest of the dropships. Like aircraft, most require prepared surfaces to land and lift off safely, making the Aerodyne more dependent on pre-landing support and preparation. However, many combat dropships have adopted this design because of the higher degree of maneuverability. The second category then is composed of all ships incapable of aerodynamic flight and must rely on the force of their drive thrust to keep them aloft. This group are called spheroids, referring to their spherical shape. Spheroids are very unstable in the atmosphere. Though their drive thrust does allow them to hover in midair, spheroids can be in serious danger if their drives or altitude thrusters malfunction. The overall design of the spheroid hull is very solid, however, and can be built to much larger proportions than an Aerodyne can, and at much lower costs. Nearly all modern dropships are powered by tremendous fusion drives. These systems provide thrust by venting off superheated plasma from the vessel's engine core. The high-pressure gases can accelerate these vessels at rates exceeding 1 G. Extremely efficient in operation, the fusion drives can maintain sustained acceleration at this rate for weeks. This capability allows dropships to make the journey from planet to jump point in a matter of days. Dropships are constructed at the moderate rate of about 30 to 45 per year. Just as the Kearney-Fukuda drive is the critical component of a jump ship, the dropships is the engine core and power plant. These units are still in moderate supply, a large number being constructed annually, and old Star League stockpiles providing the rest. The Fury-class dropship. These are one of the smallest dropships operated by the armies of the successor states. Massing 1,850 tons, this agile craft is designed to carry 4 platoons of infantry onto the field. The ship's interior is divided into 5 major decks. The lowest deck is taken up almost exclusively by the ship's drives and fuel tankage. At the forward end and beneath the ship's nose is a long ramp for loading and offloading personnel and equipment. Access to this forward-facing ramp is from a second ramp on the deck above. When not in use, the lower ramp retracts behind a pair of heavy hull metal doors, and the upper one raises flush with deck 2. In addition to housing the inner excursion ramp, the second deck is the main troop deck, containing the bunk rooms for 3 of the 4 infantry platoons carried aboard. Also located on this deck is a large ready room and a separate mess facility. Behind the crew section is the large cargo hold. Measuring roughly 21 by 19 by 4 meters, the hold is lined with storage lockers and tie-down hooks. The open central deck is large enough to fit up to 8 light vehicles or an equivalent amount of equipment, massing up to 200 tons. The main entrance to the cargo hold is through a large door that also serves as a sturdy ramp when open. The major drawback is that the ramp is so steep that some vehicles have difficulty driving up it. In case of emergency, a set of steel cable winches have been mounted in the floor of the cargo bay next to the ramp. Access to these is through a set of removable floor plates. The third deck includes quarters for the 4th Infantry Platoon, the laundry, waste recycling facilities, and a small recreation room. Because of the small size of the rec room, entry is allowed only to those with a pass. Platoon lieutenants issue these passes to troops on a rotational basis. The 4 infantry platoons are divided up into 4 troop bays, 1 for each platoon. Bunks are stacked up 3 high along the walls of each bay, and each bunk has a small storage locker and a number of drawers for personal effects. Each bay also provides washroom and gear storage facilities, and lieutenants each have foldaway desks and chairs for handling administrative business. The unit's company commander and first sergeant share a tiny room on deck 4. Because of the limited amount of space aboard the ship, the crew shares a small bunk room. The accommodations are slightly better than that for the troops, and each person shares a double bunk and has a large personal storage locker with built-in dresser. Each bed has a built-in reading lamp and personal effects drawers. The crew washroom is a slightly roomier one than the ones used by the troops, and the dropship's command pilot and first pilot share a tiny bunk room located on deck 4 near the crew quarters. 3 Fury vessels normally operate in conjunction with armor-carrying Gazelle-class dropships. Though it lacks adequate protection for raids or planetary assaults, it's often used for such missions. Larger vessels such as the Condor and Triumph are too valuable and too vulnerable to risk in such roles, and at least one Leopard CV or other fighter carrier usually escorts Fury ships to make up for their lack of fighter carrying capacity. Fury dropships are normally deployed in tight formations, 20,000 to 50,000 kilometers behind a dropship assault group, and this formation allows all 3 Fury dropships to concentrate their firepower on the attacking group. If the formation is disrupted, enemy fighters can single out one ship at a time. I thought I'd do the little intro bit for the dropships in the book just to kind of lead in there with the Fury class. But the Fury class is an Aerodyne type of airframe with 1,850 tonnage. It's 79 meters long, 28.1 meters height, and 73.2 meters wide. Has a crew of 8 with a cargo complement of 200 ton, carrying 8 light vehicles and 112 troops. It has a single PPC, 2 LRM-20 racks, an AC-10, 7 medium lasers, 2 small lasers, 6 tons of LRM ammo, and 2 tons of AC-10 ammo. I'm not quite sure why it has so little AC-10 ammo, but I guess it doesn't need much of it. Its drive system is a Hyperdyne 211, and it was first introduced in 2638. Frequency of sighting? Uncommon. It has a thrust of 4, overthrust of 6. Armor factor is, let's see, 90 on the nose, 80 on the wings, and 150 on the fuselage, and 80 on the engine. The PPC and 2 medium lasers are in the nose. The wings carry 1 LRM-20. Is that right? It should be 2 LRM-20s. I guess each wing has an LRM-20, it just doesn't say 1. So there's medium lasers and small also in the wings, and the AC-10 is in the aft alongside another medium laser. So it's got coverage pretty much all around at least, so it can protect itself if fighters do decide to go after it. And so, you know what? It's not a bad looking dropship. It looks quite cool actually. Big old sleek bugger. Can't say I've actually looked at the Fury that much, but it's a nice looking ship. So there you go. The Fury class and an introduction to dropships from the original Dropships and Jumpships book. Thanks for listening everyone. Have a good one. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.